All right, we're going to cycle the third function. Hey, we got the TYM 574 here at the farm. Picked that up a few weeks ago, and now we're going to start kitting it out. What I have done is I have got the kit. This is a third function kit. The TYM 574 does not come with third function standard. It comes with 2 rear remote standard. But today we're going to put on the actual OEM kit. If it's anything like the T474 or the T25, this should take about 30 minutes, even though I've never done it on this particular tractor before. I do have some help here running around. I got the sissy dog. Gizmo's in the truck sleeping, so he's just there for moral support. All right, this is the actual kit from TYM. This is the way you get it. And I know somebody's going to ask, what's the part number? Guys, you can't order this online unless you order it from the dealer and they ship it to you. But if you want the part number, here it is. I know there's going to be 1,000 people ask about that. There's help right there with a dryer sheet. Where'd you get a dryer sheet from?
I don't know.
You are a mess, girl.
Mess came off the blanket.
One of the reasons I really recommend the actual OEM kit, from experience, I found out the hard way that buying an aftermarket kit isn't the cheapest way. And what I mean by that, you can go online and you'll see like a Summit or a JR Long kit, and it may be, $200-300 cheaper than the OEM kit. But on the flip side of that, as you're installing it, what that means is it doesn't come with the hoses measured right. Most of the times you don't even get the hoses. So you have to go measure the hoses, go to the hose place, have them made up. If you mess up on the links, that's on you. Those hoses sometimes now cost $100 a piece. They're not cheap anymore. Used to, you go get a hose made up for $25 or $30. Those days are gone. So having this kit, you open the box, you put it on the tractor, and everything just works out of the factory. There's a couple of things that are missed when you install this kit. I want you to make sure you pay attention. There's one piece that I have seen over and over left out, and therefore messes it up. So if you'll follow through, I'll make sure and point out that that little piece. You got to put it in the tractor or it will not work correctly. All right, let's start off with the valve. So I got my regular toolbox here. I got my Leatherman. And between this, I believe we can conquer the world. Now this kit, and I've already cut myself. I thought I felt that when I went by. Safety note, don't let small children and dumb adults play with knives. Yeah, I'm bleeding to death. I'll survive. Cut the blood circulation off to my thumb and it'll fall off later. All right, so this is the actual valve, and I wanted to point out here how heavy this valve is. No, that's how heavy this OEM valve. The 474 we put on and the T25. The 474 is going on 7 years old. That third function kit never had an issue with it. The T25 is probably, I don't know, 4 years old, maybe 4 years old. It's still going strong. There's that part. I'm telling you, you got to watch, see where that goes. You can buy this from your dealer, and they will ship it to you. And if they're really good dealers, they'll probably print you off a page of instructions. But with this video, you should be able to, figure it all out. On the tractor, this tractor comes pre-wired for third function. It's got the 2 buttons here on the loader joystick. So now each tractor is different. We've got to search and find the wires. There are my third function wires. Okay, just a side note, if wherever hydraulic fluid drops, nothing will grow there for eternity. If you don't want your wife to grow flowers in a certain place, just sprinkle hydraulic fluid, good to go. Not saying that I've ever done that. All right, so this is what we got. It's a toolkit. It's got all the basics. It's got a basic wrench set. It's got Allen's. I think we have enough in this one toolkit right here to do everything. If not, we have more tools here at the farm. So first thing I'm going to do is put the valve on. It comes with the plunger. I'm telling you, do not forget this. And you have to watch the whole video all the way through to know where this goes. Here is the valve kit. You want to make sure that you don't get dirt in here. This thing was painted, and the machine surface right here, there's a little bit of paint that has flipped off in here. Make sure this is clean. Set it here. these. This is why I really love this, because it has the hard lines. Here is your Pioneer connectors that go on the front. The bolts and the plunger. There it is. Here's the last piece. This has got an additional set of Pioneer connectors. Some people put a male and female Pioneer connector on. Some people just put two female Pioneer connectors on the front. That way you can just easily rotate them around. But what I do is I put everything with a male and a female, so it can only be hooked up one way. That way when I push the button, my grapple opens up every time the right direction. Push the other button, it closes right every time the right direction.
Kind of interesting how you put that track in my truck.
My truck, your truck, we're married. This is the actual bolts it's going to hold the valve on. So we're going to, first thing to do is go over here and take the bottom plate off. All right, again, there's 4 screws here. There's 6mm heads. There are O-rings between this valve body and this blank adapter here. Make sure that you don't lose those O-rings, because you will have to transfer those over. All right, we got a puppy up here helping us. Yeah, these are the factory bolts. They're exactly the same length, so you don't even need the bolts that come in the kit. I'm starting to see some fluid leaking down. We've got a really nice spring wind coming right now. All right, so this is one of the 3 O-rings that they're special kind of O-rings made to deal with hydraulics. So this is a plunger, and the small part goes up. There's a smaller diameter at the top with some O-rings. There's a larger diameter at the bottom, and you have to put this in here. If you don't put this in the hole in the bottom, basically what you have is a glorified diverter valve. It means you have to push the button and then move the handle left and right. So if you want true third function, you're going to have to put this in there. And just push it in with your thumb. Ensure that all of the O-rings are in place, and they all are. Oh. Yeah, they're exactly the same. Make sure that plate's clean. I get people on the Tractor forums, they'll buy this kit, and dealers have installed this kit, and then they'll complain that the third function doesn't work right, and what they show in their pictures and stuff, the leftover plunger. This video is brought to you by Tanya. She is the one who recommended that I do this today. All right, so again, we're just going to crisscross, tighten this one, go across to the other side, opposite side, tighten it, and then we'll put our final torque on. If I remember correctly, those ports on the bottom here, these ports right here is where you're going to put your 2 hydraulic lines going to the diverter valve, and these are steel. Some of the aftermarket ones use a plastic one, so if you put 3,000 psi, it'll pop those plastic ones out. All right, so again, you got the wiring kit comes standard. Probably need to get some zip ties out of the truck. I don't see zip ties in this kit. That's the only thing I don't see. So here's the actual plug-in, and it was back here kind of tucked away with these 3 wires. It was tucked up here. So here are the plugs, the temp plugs in each side. And then you have the plugs like this that matches them. It's going to go in and click in place. And those are waterproof. I may get the kit that goes on this. ITC Quick Attach makes a kit that protects this. I want you guys to know, you can't do this properly unless you cut your finger and use black electric tape too. And I'm going to break that zip tie. All right, they're color coded. Black goes to black. All right, white goes to white. And then green goes to green. All right, I'm going to go crank it up. If hydraulic fluid goes everywhere, we failed. All right, we should hear a change in the motor when I push this button. I'll hear it. All right, to the other side. That's the pressure deadheading against those fittings. Went ahead and did a little pressure test. So we're golden from there. This, with the O-ring, goes up into the valve body, tightens down, and then you will screw this one on to the valve body from the bottom. And this will allow the hoses to quick connect on and off when you take your loader on and off. So it took me a minute to figure all this out, how this went together, because I don't have directions. And it's a little bit different than the 474. Now, some people show putting tape on this, and you definitely can, and I have in the past. But I do have thread lock, thread sealant. So what I want to do is go ahead and use thread sealant. Now we're out here, so I have a big giant 24-inch crescent wrench. Okay. So this will only be ever taken off when the loader is removed. All right, now we're going to go take the plugs out of the bottom, install these, and then we'll install these, and then we'll be ready to move on to hoses. All right, the same Allen wrench that we've took the bolts out, we'll remove the plugs. All right, you'll see there's an O-ring right here. If that don't come off, make sure that you do get it off. Get this next one out. O-ring come off. The quick connects for the hoses. These have a tapered fitting. This has a cone on the inside, and there's a cone, female cone on this side. And you can screw these in backwards, so make sure that you are paying attention to that. Use your judgment where you want to put these so that they're less likely to get hung. Again, these are not super fragile. You can over tighten these and split them. You want to make sure that they're tight enough in a place like this so when they're not wiggling around. This line right here at the front, I'm going to go ahead and zip tie this to this hose. Tie these two together right here. And what I'm going to do is zip tie all of these wires. All right, that looks pretty well. So if you look right here, as I put that on and as I tighten this down, okay, so that one's good. All right, again, I'll try this again. So, that bolt looks like it's too long. It's not, my threads are going to come through maybe. All right, so we're not tightening that down yet. We're going to loosen this bolt. Put the long one on. It may want to be, I may go to the back bolt, not the front bolt. And then you have that much room. These will bend out just a little bit. That will get them a little bit more snug. All right, so that one's tight. Finish tightening this one up. Put a little thread lock on the male and female. It doesn't matter which one of these goes to. If you're not happy with the way the fluid comes out, like if you wanted it to open with the left button, close with the right, all you have to do is disconnect the two lines back here. So we have these two lines left to hook up, but you can just switch those out, you know, left or right, right or left, and change the flow. So this, how you hook these up really doesn't matter. Now we're gonna get our big crescent wrench. That's tight. You know how I know? My back pop. Okay. We officially have third function. So let's see if I can run these hoses along this loop right here and get them down. Who tightened that? So that'll make it easier to put in here. and then we'll tighten it back. But never crank down on this, like pull, tighten on this nut with the pressure on this, you'll break this off. Aim this a little easier, be more natural, otherwise these holes are going to stay twisted for their entire life, which would probably make them less likely to live a long time. All right. All right, when you first get the tractor, this is a hydrostatic, so you got to take into account that your leg's going to go by here. It's one of the things I noticed right off the bat, that this touches my leg. It was like this. So what I've done now is turn it around all the way, actually further than straight, not straight back like this, but over. There's an indentation right here, it makes me think that's what it was designed for. And then you turn this back into place, aiming forward, so that when you're sitting here working your controls, it's going to be good. But you got to make sure that when the loader is all the way over or in the back, it's not hitting. So you get little micro adjustments, so it's. Let me tighten this down just a little bit so it's not. To get to this, you have 4 little plastic inserts. You just pop those out with a screwdriver or a knife, and then you pull this up, and you'll see that there is the nut here that you loosen up. But also be aware that this cable, don't keep turning this till you have that cable twisted around. You gotta hold this in place while you're tightening it. Don't go crazy because it's plastic. All right, let's crank it up and see what happens. So back, tilt out. I mean, I have to really push here. Tilt it back. It's away from my leg, even when my feet are here. This is kind of in the way, but that'll get pushed down later. And the beautiful thing is, I probably won't put this cover on right away. The thing is, I can adjust on this. Bounce it around a little bit, make sure that's in its slot. So again, I'm going to turn this back on, push the buttons left and right to release any back pressure in the third function. Again, otherwise you are not going to get the hoses on. Let's see if this goes in now. Well, look at there. All right, here we go with our hook up again. What I was saying earlier is if you don't release the back pressure on these lines, there'll be pressures here and you're not going to get it hooked up. So there still can be pressure and you may not still get it up if there's any kind of pressure on this side as well. Okay, now we're going to have to cycle this about 10 times because there's air all in this. And then there's a little bit, the fluid was not too high, but it was on the high side of the full mark. So when we function through this, we should still have plenty of fluid in it. This tractor for real, this is why we need it for the sawmill. We need that extra lift capacity. All right, we're going to cycle the third function. Let's go get all the air out of this, and then I'll go see what it'll pick up. Oh, see that? Can you pull that over? And go zip tie that. All right, we're going to cycle the third function, get all the air out. mean, the reality is it takes days to get all the finer bubbles out of this. But by, you know, a month of work of this, there won't be any bubbles left, and that'll all go back to the sump, and we'll top off the fluid, especially our 50-hour service. They don't care. So if I can't see the pups, I stop, because she's so young. Gizmo's smart and older and wise, so he's not getting out in front. But the pup, she don't understand. We don't have the rear tires loaded to this, and I don't have a very heavy implement on the back. Well, the Ironcraft blade is about, I think it's about 500 pounds, so it is pretty heavy, but it's not like a 1,000-pound implement like the mulcher. So this is heavy. I'm not even sure that the 474 would pick this up. I like what the loader feels like right now. But this may be a little heavy for this tractor right now without ballast in the rear tires and a heavy load on the back. It's not heavy for the loader. Now you can do something like this, put the loader all the way to the ground and curl back. As you curl it back, you're actually bringing the log closer to you, which is closer to your center of gravity, then also lowering it. So the lower you carry it and the further curl back, the closer it is to the tractor, less work it is on your front axle. This is a nice, about a 16-foot long tulip poplar. It's nowhere near as heavy as oak. Yeah, we get the ballast in these tires and then have a nice heavy, either like a concrete ballast on the back. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Alright, we'll go ahead and show you here. This is how the finished kit looks. Hard lines all the way up. Mount. Follow the hose around. I'm going to probably zip tie these hoses right here, or to the loader somehow, so that right now they're kind of getting out in the way of the door. And then go down to the actual kit, and this could be adjusted as well. Be moved back around a little further to the front. Alright guys, that is it. We are headed back to the house, and I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless. Have a great day.